The things that I choose to share online, it baffles the mind. So we're going to dig into a journal entry of mine this morning. I woke up antsy. My poor little brain has been spinning about a number of things. And I do know, and I do have the habit of expressing these things in journal form. Just put them out there, get them out of your head, talk to other people. And in this instance, for whatever reason, I'm gonna talk to you and share some extremely vulnerable things that, in all honesty, the light's gonna go up and down in this video because the sun is so not working in my favor right now. But I'm going to share some things that, in all honesty, will probably hurt. For a lot of my viewers, will probably hurt my reputation. For others, I think they can see the benefit or at least appreciate the sincere effort to be transparent. So let's get inside my poor crazy little brain. Let's talk about some things I've been spinning about. This is raw processing. This is the shit that I wish more people online, influencers, would do. I have a baby resentment I need to work through about the fact that I can't find many people willing to be truly open and vulnerable online. So here goes, okay? I'm going to read from my journal entry this morning, and things are going to get really personal. 10/6. I try to start my day with this. I wrote down an activating event that's been really upsetting me. It's been really struggling. I've been really struggling with. Activating event is I can't be stable without AA. I've been in AA since I was 16 years old, first as a spectator, and then when I started having my first consequences with drinking, I knew where my dad went, so I went straight there. But I've had a strange relationship with AA because I've continued to drink and then get sober, drink and then get sober. And the mystery of AA and the allure as far as like this magical possibility for my life, it's diminished over the years because I've just been in and out. And it washes away some of that initial glitz for me. But I always end up going back. So anyway, the activating event in my brain, the thought, is that I can't be stable without AA. The belief system that this created, and I wrote this down, I'll never be okay. I'll never be okay because I have shown that I can't seem to stay okay in AA, can't seem to stay okay out of AA. I may have unrealistic expectations of what okay is in general, but this is the belief system that seems to come out of my head is that I'm screwed, damned if I do, damned if I don't. The consequence of this is that I get anxious, sad, apathetic, hopeless, perpetually screwed. Disputing that belief, because I do ABC therapy routinely, is that I can't prove that, nor can anybody, right? I can't prove that I'll never be okay. I can't prove that I can't be stable without AA. And my effective new belief system, I can be okay without AA. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to read through my journal entry and then just expound as I might want to. We really are going to deep dive into my thoughts. And I believe that I'm of two minds of this. I believe that I have my thoughts and I have my mind observing the thoughts. So what I want to make clear before we get into this, a lot of these thoughts are looping, ritualistic, cyclical thoughts, fear-based thoughts, many of which I'm sure are born of yesteryear, so to speak. But they still are there. I still have to process them or observe them and try not to respond emotionally to them, and they can still be troubling and upsetting. So I think my hope for this video is to connect with the person who might be watching who has these sort of insidious thoughts, who plays tricks with themselves between their ears, and who's uncomfortable and who doesn't want to admit it. Like, if I do one thing on this platform for as long as I have some people's attention, I'm going to admit it, whatever it is. I don't want to put up a false bravado. I don't want to put up a false image of myself. As much as I would like to look good and be liked, I just want to be honest. So here we go. I'm really, really spinning about AA. All the things burned into my head about AA. How it works. constant messages from repeat mentionings, different sayings, the things you hear if you're someone who frequents AA meetings like I have. I've been to thousands. You hear the same things, just presented in different ways. When I add them all up, back to the reading, my brain tells me I'm crazy. I'm in denial. I'm a failure. And it hurts. In Treehouse, this is the inpatient rehab that I checked myself into in 2020, and I spent 5 months at. So when I reference that, Treehouse, that's what it's from. In Treehouse, we learned there are loads of ways of approaching recovery. I came to believe that with all my heart. I wanted to customize your recovery, make it work for you. No one size fits all. Something deep down in me has never really wanted to be in AA my whole entire life. I think I've judged myself for that fact. It's something I've really, really struggled with. The concept of being sober outside of only doing AA and believing the AA way is the only way has been really hard for me, because AA is all I've ever really known. And I've always looked to people that had this like mysteriously stable, consistent, long-term sobriety. But I've struggled to see myself in that space, and I've struggled to find a genuine connection and tribe, even though they're wonderful people with whom I do relate. It's been a strange thing my whole life. I'm perhaps, is what I wrote, also troubled by thoughts of just not trying to be in recovery. I'm slightly confused, but rather focus. So I'm troubled by thoughts I've been having, is what I was trying to say, about not really being in recovery and constantly revolving my thoughts and my behaviors in my life around being in recovery, which at times suffocates me. It just makes me feel overwhelmed. But rather focus on the 4 dimensions of wellness as a daily blueprint for living. Biological wellness, taking care of my body, my health, physical health, my psychological wellness, being open and honest about my thoughts, speaking my truths, processing my thoughts, getting feedback, things like that, not hiding, not keeping things to myself. My social wellness, being around healthy people and spending time with them. And my spiritual wellness, connecting with a power greater than myself, meditation. There's a lot of leeway there. Seek God, broaden my relationship with faith, learn more about addiction, and why in general, learn more about addiction, this is what I'm writing, and why in general alcohol sucks. And then gravitate towards a sober preference of life, but not dramatically condemn or make a big fuss over occasional drinking. Even sharing that out loud makes me nervous, because I always get afraid that someone's watching who's going to judge me or scoff at me or pity me perhaps. And I can't control you. I can't control people's response to me. It's not my responsibility to take concern of other people's thoughts. It has nothing to do with me, and I know that intuitively, but the scared little boy who just wants to be sure he's okay and who loves validation in that sort of old school codependent mindset of mine, I get nervous saying something like that, because the last thing I want is for someone to think I'm crazy. Back to the reading. Now, because of my past experiences, my smart brain says, this is your alcoholic brain talking. I think I have enough information to know that it has not worked in the past to drink the way I was drinking. I added that part. I always end up drinking or thinking about alcohol too much, too often, and at the expense of the things I really care about. My brain is slightly convinced that staying sober through AA has not quite worked, nor has being a normal drinker. I have some thoughts about why my brain seems to think that, and I think it has to do with my childhood, like for a lot of us. This is frustrating. I add now, I am not a victim. I'm not a bad person. I will gently explore this. And I wrote, I love you, Noah. And then I signed off, and then I was sitting there thinking, and I did write, I love you, Noah. I think it's important that people see that. as much as I worry, as much as my brain gets in these like trapped spaces where I can't breathe and I don't know what to do, and am I right, am I wrong, and am I screwing everything up, or is this okay? I do know that I'm worth loving. I do know that I have good qualities, and I do know that at least in this moment, which is hard to stay in for me, I am okay. So I try to tell myself that. But then I go on. The frustrating reality of my last night of drinking is that I very much enjoyed it. That's always kind of a bummer for me because it's been easier in the past to have like a bottom out night, just a bad night of drinking, kind of wake up and just be like, oh, that was the worst. I never want to feel this way again. My last time drinking, it was fine. I got what I wanted out of it, which is annoying to say the least. I go on to say, I've had this perhaps delusional, the light's going to keep changing on this because of the sun. But anyhow, I've had this perhaps delusional thought that if I just got sober long enough, tried hard enough, and stayed disciplined through it all, adding that, I'd finally transform, I'd finally arrive, I'd finally be free, and I'd be the exact person I was always meant to be. This is a thought that's always given me hope, but made me extraordinarily overwhelmed because I keep thinking, until I get there, I'm adding this now, until I get sober long enough or do the right thing long enough or have a change in perspective, a spiritual transformation as you hear about in the big book, a psychological change. Until that happens, I'm just this fucked up, broken person. These are thoughts I have. And that life can't be okay until I get there, and I can't seem to get there based on, I think, years of projecting onto other people, comparing the worst of me to the perceived best of others, things like that. I'd finally be free to be the exact person I was always meant to be. Maybe my brain would start working much like when I was young. I would not be so depressed and sad and so hopeless so often. I've created perhaps an unattainable version of myself for how great life is supposed to be with long-term sobriety and recovery. Then at month 10, month 12, I've made it to month 18, month 20. I concede that life is still so hard between my ears more often than I want it to be. I can't seem to arrive to this perhaps impossible space that I think I'm going to get to one day. And so I think to myself, I must not have been doing this right. So I drink, and then I feel sad for that too. I seem to end up not being good enough one way or another. I don't think that's true, by the way, and I wrote that. I don't think that's true. I do think I'm good enough. I just have sadness, and it can be hard to get through the day for me, even still, despite being incredibly in tune with how lucky I am to have the life that I have, the support system that I have, the friendships I have, the health that I have. I've got a really good life. I know that. And I finish with this. In all reality, my inner parent talks to this scared boy in me often, but the looping thought and the feeling associated is frustrating. That is my journal entry for today. These are my thoughts, and this is what I'm experiencing. And it's a bummer. Now, I do take comfort in knowing that other people experience this. I've been online long enough. I've read enough comments. I've communicated openly with enough people to know that people think this way often. Maybe about different things, but also people like me who have a bad relationship and bad history with alcohol, they think about this too, or a history of clinical depression like me. In order to handle my current situation and not implode, I wonder if it's just a defense mechanism to say, hey, Noah, be gentle, keep exploring, look into alternative forms of recovery, learn more about the bad sides of alcohol in order to reinforce the reasons you want to be sober, but don't put too much pressure on yourself if you drink, because it just makes it worse. I wonder if that's a coping mechanism. I of course wonder, like I've shared in this video, is this just pure, blatant alcoholism talking? Is this denial? I don't know. Sometimes I think I know, but sometimes I don't trust myself because I have so much information in my head. But yet, this is my first time being alive. This is my first time doing this, like all of us. So that's me being as extremely vulnerable as possible. Those are my thoughts for today, and I can say that it was helpful to write them all down. I can say with all my heart that I don't want to go back to what I was doing with alcohol. But I can also say that I'm scared of this sobriety, this recovery that I'll never be able to quite get. I have this like number in my head, 2 years. They brought it up a lot in treatment. You got to get 18 months to 2 years post-acute withdrawal syndrome. By then we'll have dissipated. Your nervous system will have fully recovered. My mood, then likely this is the whole heave, right? This is what the big push is for, is that I will balance out and alcohol will become a moot point. If you got anything out of that, God bless you. And if you're willing to share how your thoughts work and what your struggles may or may not be with either this topic or something else, that'd be great. I'm not looking for validation, by the way, and I don't need anyone to fix me. And I'm responsible for my life, and I really don't think I'm a victim. I'm okay. It's just struggle sometimes with this. And I've learned a lot about why. But like I've said before, when I've relapsed and kind of been in this relapse mode, however infrequent my drinking is right now, I still have to love me. I still have to find ways to get along with me and be okay with me on a day-to-day basis. I need to clearly explore the AA thing more. I've always seemed to resist the idea of revolving my life around being in recovery all the time. But I have no proof that there's any other way to do it, and I have no proof that I can be successful without it. So I gotta stay right here in this present moment. I really sincerely do look forward to reading your comments. I'm gonna cross my fingers that some of the more intensely negative ones don't impact me, because I've had to set boundaries around comments depending on what I was posting. But thank you for being here for me or for yourself or for whatever reasons you're here. I think it's a good thing more than it's a bad thing, and I do think it's a good place for people to come and connect or maybe read comments that they can relate to. All right. Take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you guys later.